Let's look at the braking phases. Braking has two phases, the reaction phase and the braking phase itself. Both phases chew up time and distance. The reaction phase has three subphases. First, the perception time. You need to see the problem. Then, the reaction time. Aha, I should do something about this. And finally, the implementation time. That includes the time it takes to convince your right foot to get to the brake pedal. All this, in a normal situation, can take up to 0.6 of a second. If you're trained, 0.3. If you're in the Bahamas, that is to say, daydreaming, it could take more than a second, and by that time you've probably crashed. Then the braking time itself. Braking has two phases. The operating time, that is pressing on the pedal, and the threshold time, that is to say, getting to the maximum power of the braking system. That could take another 0.6 of a second. So imagine that. Between the time you see a problem and the time you are at maximum braking power, 1.2 seconds can elapse. A lot of stuff can happen in 1.2 seconds, and especially you could cover a lot of ground, like this. The next slide shows us reality. The bottom car is traveling at 80 kilometers an hour and is confronted with a problem where the driver has to stop completely. So the reaction distance here is 20 meters. The braking distance itself is 35 meters, for a total stopping distance of 55 meters. Now let's build a little wall at 55 meters, just for the sake of argument, and bump the speed up 20 kilometers an hour. We all do that. If it says 50 on the sign, we drive 70. If it says 100 on the sign, we drive 120. We're comfortable that it's not too much faster than the speed limit, and besides, if we get caught, it's not too expensive. But let's look at the consequence of the 20 kilometers an hour. Now, because I'm driving faster, I'm covering more ground. So my reaction distance is now 35 meters. I get on the brakes, and by that time I reach the wall that is at 55 meters, my car is still traveling 60 kilometers an hour. So by adding 20 kilometers an hour to my speed, I nearly doubled my braking distance. That is the consequence of more speed, and that is something that needs to be known.